Okay, let's talk boxing. Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo this Saturday in Texas, the 8th of May. I can't wait. You know, I was getting upset. I was getting really frustrated yesterday with what was going on with the ring size. You know, it got me really angry for a bit. I was really angry at Canelo and his team. But as time's gone on, I've calmed down. I've realised that this is all part of building the fight. And this is all part of the controversy. Even though I don't really like games, tactics, manipulation, I prefer things just to be honest, straightforward. Obviously, that's not kind of how these big fights go. And let's just say Billy Joe Saunders is complaining just to kind of get in Canelo's head, then I think that's a really good thing, because I totally agree with Billy Joe Saunders, his values and his principles, which is one of the reasons why I like him and I will support him, especially for this fight. Because in life, you know, you are going to get situations where people are going to try and, you know, use their power against you and try and bully you and basically walk all over you. And you've got to stand up for yourself. And I think Saunders is doing the best thing by not agreeing to all of Canelo's terms, you know, because so what if he is more popular, more famous, and obviously more wealthier? That doesn't equal the right to let someone walk all over you, even though a lot of people will do that. Most of the fighters that have gone in the ring with Canelo, it seems to be that they're beaten before they've got in. And I'm not just going to, I'm not going to say that they're just doing it for the payday, but it almost feels like they've accepted their fate and they try and, survive in the ring. But Saunders isn't going there for a payday. He's not going there to fall over. He's not going there just to make up the numbers. He's going there because he really believes he can win the fight, and I really believe in him. I think he's got the ability to do it. Obviously, it's going to be difficult. Canelo does look unbeatable, but at the same time, he's not unbeatable. He's been beaten before. We know that. He's been outboxed before. So I think this is good. And even though Canelo's saying that it's not bothering him, and I don't believe that. I think it is getting to him. He's not used to people standing up to him, calling him names, getting under his skin, not showing up to press conferences. He's not used to that. He's used to people bowing down, yes sir, like Saunders' dad said, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full. And Saunders, in my opinion, is playing the perfect psychological game of Canelo. He's making it difficult. He's not agreeing to everything. Now, let's just say it's not mind games. I agree with Canelo's team, because if they're going to try and put Saunders in an 18-foot or a 20-foot ring, that's playing into Canelo's hands. He's already got 70,000 people at Texas supporting him. Most of the things are all on his terms. What's Saunders supposed to do? Bend over backwards and be shafted by Canelo and his team? That's Saunders is a mover. He's a proper natural boxer. So he needs the ring to be at a certain amount of feet. He doesn't need to be getting into an 18-foot ring or a 20-foot ring where it's small and he's not going to be able to, to move about. And it seems that obviously Canelo's team, they're trying to take everything away from Saunders. So come on, man. For people that are complaining about Saunders, it's, you shouldn't be complaining, because it's a big factor in the fight. If you're going to cut the ring size down, you're taking half of Billy Joe Saunders' game plan and his strengths away. And Canelo's got so many advantages. If Canelo's so good, if he's as good as they're saying he is, and he's the greatest Mexican fighter that's ever lived, and he's the greatest pound-for-pound fighter today, then what difference does it make if he gives Saunders the bigger ring, the 22-foot ring or the 24? But obviously, if they're causing problems and they're not negotiating with Saunders' his team, they must be worried. They must be scared to give Billy Joe Saunders any advantage. And let's think about it. Canelo's got 70,000 fans cheering his name. Saunders is not even allowed, from what I've heard, there's not even British journalists being allowed to go over. I think there's like one. So come on, man, give a man some credit and at least give him a fair fight. Saunders is already going up against the pound for pound champion in Canelo. He's going up against the judges. He's going up against 70,000 people. What's he expected to do? Give away the ring size as well. So this is a load of bullshit. I totally agree with Team Saunders in standing up and fighting. And if they're as disappointed as we all would be, and I would be as a fan, I respect him for walking away and not taking a fight if they're going to not negotiate and give him a fair size ring so he can move around in and box. So I don't see that as Saunders making excuses, unless it is all mind games and he doesn't mind if he boxes in an 18 foot, 20 foot, 22, 24 or whatever size ring. He's just doing it to make life difficult for Canelo, and I think that's brilliant because, like I said, everything's going to be in Canelo's favour. Even Eddie Hearn, the promoter, who promotes both of the fighters, seems to be way more in Canelo's corner. So, Team Saunders have to use every little inch that they can get, and they have to play some mind games because Canelo's too used to having everything going his own way. And we kind of seen when Mayweather beat him, and even till today, it seems like he still can't admit, he can't give Floyd Mayweather credit that he got beaten by a better fighter. Okay, it was years ago, but what was Mayweather supposed to do? Go in a time machine? And Floyd wasn't exactly a spring chicken. I'm sure Mayweather was in his late 30s, mid 30s, and Canelo was a spring chicken. So, Mayweather boxed an unbelievable fight. So I don't really like the arrogance of Canelo and the making excuses and saying that, oh, well, when Mayweather beat me, I wasn't experienced. Well, you weren't saying that before you got in. So come on, man. Canelo's a fantastic fighter, but I don't know. I don't like the tactics, and everything gets in his favour. I'm sure, like the last fight he had with Yildirim and Callum Smith, where literally, I've never seen a fighter get an entrance like the entrances Canelo's getting. So the whole show is being built towards a superstar. So come on, man, give Billy Joe Saunders some slack. At least give him a fair size boxing ring so he can fight his fight, because it's not fair. It's not fair that they want to try and cut the ring down. What are they going to do next? Is it going to be a case where they'll have to pick Billy Joe Saunders' gloves? Are they going to make the round short? It's but at the same time, it's not. I'm not going to let this get to me, because I've said before, this is just a bit of fun. I really want Saunders to win. I'm backing him all the way, Team Saunders. But yeah, I'm not going to take this personal. Life goes on, but it is kind of good, all this, because it is getting everyone talking about the fight. It's building the fight, and you do have that bit of anxiety. I have it where, is this fight going to go ahead? Are Team Canelo going to pull something else out of the bag, and then Saunders is going to say, no, I'm not being disrespected and and taken for an idiot here, and bowing down to Canelo and all his wants and all his needs. I'm going home. So I don't know. It's crazy. I've never been building up towards a big fight and thinking, I'm not sure if if it's gonna happen or not. But yeah, it's a tough ask, but I really do believe, obviously Canelo's the favourite, that's obvious, but I do think, I know Billy Joe Saunders has got the ability to beat him, but it's whether he can get it right on the night. And of course, are the judges going to give him a fair shake? But a lot of people have been talking about a moral victory, and usually I wouldn't feel good about that. I want to get the win, but I understand where they're coming from, because if Billy Joe Saunders does outbox him and win, but he doesn't get a decision, the whole world's going to see that it was a robbery, But I suppose, look, let's see what happens. The fight hasn't happened yet before we start making accusations and stuff, but I can't wait for this fight, man. And I don't believe Canelo. I know it's getting to him. When he's saying, it doesn't bother me, I'm calm, I don't believe that, man, because Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury, they've got a way of getting into your head. And Canelo is used to people bending over backwards. He's used to people respecting him. And it's good to respect people, respect fighters, but Billy Joe Saunders is a different customer altogether. He's not just going to go over there and be quiet and shake his hand and take pictures of him and selfies. He's not going to do that, man. Billy Joe Saunders values himself. He sees himself just as much as a superstar, even if it's not true on paper. And you've got most of the world sucking up to Canelo, and you know, I'm not in that position, of course, but the way I live my life, same principles as Billy Joe. I don't bow down to anyone. I see everyone who's equal, even though we don't live in a society. So there's a lot of principles going on, and I think that speaks volume for his character, even though people have given him stick. But look, Billy Joe's got nothing to lose. Most people expect him to lose. Canelo is the clear favourite. So I think that takes some pressure off of Saunders, even though there's a lot of pressure on him, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, look, 70,000 against you. You've got none of your countrymen, no support apart from your cornerman and your trainer. Maybe, I think there's one British journalist. So wow, if Saunders was to pull this off, this would be probably the biggest win of a British fighter since Calzaghe beating Hopkins, and Lennox Lewis beating Tyson, and there's a few other fights I can't think of the top of my head. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight, and let me know your thoughts in the box below. What do you think about the build up towards the fight, the ring size? Let's talk boxing in the box below.